And Mike in Chicago, you're on the air with Congressman Khanna.
Hello.
You're on the air.
Hello. My name's Mike. I did 6 months in the stockade for refusing to go to Vietnam. John McCain is not a hero. John McCain was a war criminal. John McCain was shot down in the Operation Rolling Thunder, which was aimed at taking out the civilian infrastructure of North Vietnam. He was shot down trying to bomb a light bulb factory. And in his memoir, he complains that they weren't allowed to shoot even more civilian targets. And if we're going to get rid of this Trump regime, there is no way we're going to do it unless we realize that Trump and McCain agreed on that. Trump put forward in his campaign that the families of terrorists should be murdered. McCain has never said a word about it. McCain never said nothing about the campaign of destroying the civilians and infrastructure in Yemen. And this is very dangerous to slobber all over John McCain in this kind of atmosphere, because Trump very well may create an international incident, and then everybody's going to fall in line and follow the flag. I didn't follow the flag 40 years ago, and I have no regrets, and I was part of millions of GIs who resisted that unjust war.
Good. Mike, let's get the congressman's comments.
Well, I respect your opposition to the Vietnam War, and obviously it is a war that was wrong and not in our national interest. And I have stood up. I was a very early voice against the Iraq War. I have been opposed to our bombing of Libya. I've said we ought to get out of Afghanistan. I have said we shouldn't have called for regime change in Syria, even as brutal as Assad is. And I have generally been a voice for restraint in foreign policy, including stopping the aid to the Saudis for the bombing in Yemen. I think what we can say with John McCain is he was not the architect of the policies in Vietnam, and he certainly was not in charge of those decisions. He signed up to serve our nation, and he wore the uniform, and at great personal risk and personal sacrifice, he did his duty as someone who was signing up to serve our country. So I think our anger should be for the architects of the Vietnam War, and if they were getting a celebration, then I would oppose that. I certainly wouldn't be for Henry Kissinger lying in state. But when you look at a young person who's willing to dedicate their life in the service of this country and was imprisoned for 5 years, I think that is a heroic act, and that is different from the architects of the policy that have not served the U.S.'s interests.